All right, welcome to The Explainer. Today, we are diving deep into the fundamentals of system security. All the essential stuff that keeps our digital lives safe. Okay, so let's just get this out of the way right up front with a pretty bold and honestly kind of scary statement that pretty much every single security expert will tell you. Perfect security? It's a myth. It just plain doesn't exist. And why is that? Well, it's because our digital world is under a constant, and I mean constant, barrage of threats. We're talking about the whole spectrum here, from your everyday viruses and identity theft, all the way up to massive, large-scale cyber terrorism and even espionage. The list of things that can go wrong it's long and it's always changing. So that begs the question, right? If perfect security is impossible, then what do we do? How do we even start to protect ourselves? And let me tell you, it's about way more than just picking a good password. Okay, so let's really get into it. When you boil it all down, system security is really about one thing: putting a shield around our information and the computers that store it. The entire goal is just to keep our data safe from anyone and anything that shouldn't be accessing it, messing with it, or taking it down. And this isn't just some abstract techie thing. It is absolutely crucial. Think about it. Good security is what stands between you and someone stealing your personal and financial data. It's what lets businesses and hospitals and power grids keep running. But maybe most importantly, it's the foundation of trust for our entire digital world. Without it, the whole thing kind of falls apart. All right, so to really get a grip on how security works, you have to understand its three core pillars. It's this foundational idea in the security world, and they call it the CIA triad. First up, we've got the C, and that stands for confidentiality. This is basically the promise that your data stays private. The journal analogy is perfect here. Think of your data like a personal diary. Only you or people you've specifically allowed should ever be able to read it. It's all based on that simple principle of need to know. Okay, next is I for integrity. This one is all about making sure your data is trustworthy and accurate. Has it been tampered with? Has someone changed it? Integrity means the data is good. It's exactly as it's supposed to be. So, sticking with that journal idea, integrity is what guarantees that nobody has snuck in and, rewritten your entries. And that brings us to the A, availability. And this one is exactly what it sounds like. It simply means that when you're authorized to access information, you can actually get to it when you need it. So can you open your journal and read it whenever you feel like it? If yes, you have availability. Simple as that. Okay, but here's where it gets really interesting. These three things, confidentiality, integrity, and availability, they're not always friends. In fact, they're constantly in a tug of war. It's a balancing act. For instance, you could get almost perfect confidentiality by just yanking the internet cable out of your computer, right? No one's hacking that. But what happens? Well, your availability just went to zero. You can't get to anything online. And even your integrity takes a hit, because now you can't get critical security updates, which makes you vulnerable down the road. See, it's always a trade-off. Okay, so now that we have the CIA triad in our back pocket, let's look at how attacks actually go down in the real world. Think of it like a recipe, because it turns out almost every security breach follows the same basic steps. So, ingredient number one in our attack recipe is a vulnerability. What's that? It's just a weakness, a crack in the armor, a flaw in the system's defenses that someone could, potentially, take advantage of. Then you need a threat. The threat is the person or the thing that's actually looking to exploit that vulnerability. So this could be a hacker, sure, but it could also be a piece of malware, a virus. Heck, it could even be a natural disaster like a fire or a flood. It's anything that has the potential to cause harm by using that weakness. And finally, fighting against that threat, you have your controls. Controls are your defenses. They're the countermeasures you set up to block a threat from ever getting to that vulnerability. We're talking about things like your firewall, a really strong password, or that two-factor authentication code you get on your phone. So you see how it all fits together? An attack is just a threat trying to exploit a vulnerability. That's it. And the big question, does it succeed or fail? That all comes down to your controls. If your control, like two-factor authentication, is solid, it can stop the attack dead in its tracks, even if the bad guy finds the weak spot. This is a perfect example of how it all plays out. Let's take a university database. The threat? Someone trying to get in who shouldn't be. The vulnerability? The system lets people use super weak passwords like password123. The risk, then, is obviously huge. A massive student data leak is just waiting to happen. So what's the control? Well, the university gets smart and starts forcing everyone to use strong passwords and turns on two-factor authentication. Boom, control in place. So, knowing how attacks are built, we can flip that around and figure out how to build a really strong defense. It's all about following a few key principles. And these principles are basically the golden rules of modern security. First, least privilege. This just means don't give anyone more access than they absolutely need to do their job. Simple. Then there's defense in depth. Don't just have one lock on the door. Have a lock, a deadbolt, an alarm system, a guard dog. You get the idea. Multiple layers. Accountability is about making sure you can always tell who did what. And non-repudiation, that's a fancy way of saying you have undeniable proof someone did something. It's like a digital signature they can't take back. And when you put it all together, the difference between a secure and an insecure system is just night and day. A secure system is cared for. It has firewalls, encryption, strong passwords, and, this is a big one, it gets updated all the time. An insecure system, it's usually the opposite. It's been forgotten, wide open access, terrible passwords, and software that hasn't been updated in years, just riddled with holes. So I want to leave you with this final question to chew on. As our world gets more and more connected, everything is online 24/7 now. Think back to that CIA triad, that balancing act. What do you think is the bigger challenge today? Is it keeping our data private and confidential? Or is it making sure that data is always available for us when we need it? Something to think about.